guidance internal. 10, 9, 8, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running, commit, liftoff. We are
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Ryan.
And I'm Rob.
And this is TurboRetroDuo. This is a podcast about retro gaming that's hosted by two friends who are former members of the video game industry and game collectors and just people with opinions about old games and video game collecting. And this is episode 3. And normally Rob and I record together here in the Geek Cave, but unfortunately, like what happens to many podcasts out there, we didn't quite hit the record button when we thought we did, and so we lost the first 10 minutes or so, and so that means we've had to re-record the intro, which is what this part is. So we have most of our video recorded, and it's great, and we're going to let you see that in a minute, but we just wanted to jump in here and give you that quick intro and invite you to TurboRetroDuo, because today we are going to be talking about the classic PC game Duke Nukem.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe right now, right here. Do it.
That's right. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. That really helps us out, and we really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's jump to a couple days ago and catch us on the couch playing some Duke Nukem.
Spending extra time. No, I need a blue key. Yeah, where's that key? The purple key. Oh, I found it.
He found it. Oh,
I needed the pressure.
All right, the pressure. No problem. I think we're still on the right screen.
But I don't know how to get up there. But at least I know where it is.
Okay.
I think I know how to get there. All right, back to the top.
Nice. This is great. See, everybody, all we had to do was threaten him, and then he locked in, as the kids would say. Oh, look at that. What is that thing? Is that thing
just pushing me? Unless I shot it as a fan.
Interesting. See, that's cool. You guys just learned something right now.
All right. But the rest of this is...
Well, we want to see you put the key in for the record. Nice.
I got a 5 and a 7.
I guess 7? I don't know. I mean, that's what you got.
Yeah.
I thought
there's 7 bonuses that are possible. And they roll at that point if you got them.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, nice work. Whoa, look at that sweet spaceship. Now that is a cool spaceship. That feels very Space Quest. That background.
Some of the sound design was not great.
Oh, is this a boss? We're fighting a snake boss?
There's only one boss. It's at the very end, and it's really easy. That is one thing I'll say.
Dr. Proton, or whatever his name is.
You can kind of brute force it. Pretty much the only difficulty in this game, one bad thing, is the only difficulty is the maze. Like you just saw.
Yeah, trying to find stuff.
Some of those enemies take a lot of hits, but it's just kind of attrition more than anything. So there you go.
Oh, a new gun.
That just adds damage to the gun you already have.
There's an Ed 209. He's shooting you. Okay.
So those guys are kind of the hardest, and they're not that hard. Maybe there's like
bad,
the helicopters are frustrating, but it's just attrition, right?
I see you're still trying, Duke. Never mind. My robot drones will soon be the end of you. Yeah. Well, do you think that's a good place to stop? We'll switch over. All right, everybody. All right, chat. Get ready. Ayo, what up? LA Dead Red in the chat, holding it down. Ayo. we're going to switch over to another Duke Nukem game, a lesser known game and a very terrible game, but very much in the vein of like a 90s overly hormonal 13-year-old teenager game. We're going to check out Duke Nukem Land of the Babes. So hold on while I switch over to that.
So people know, if you don't know the history of Duke Nukem, it started in this kind of tongue-in-cheek place, went to Duke Nukem 3D, which was still kind of tongue-in-cheek, but maybe a little bit of like...
Beginnings of the overly hormonal...
Yeah, it's like, is this satire, or is it a little too close to the actual thing? And by this point, when they had really tried to cash in, this is the kind of thing you would get. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. So over the shoulder, instead of... Duke Nukem 3D was a FPS, right?
Yeah. So this was like their attempt to bring this game sort of to consoleize it a little bit.
Come get some.
The famous "Come Get Some."
Yeah. I think that rat's still alive.
Operating system.
I think we're about to see.
Oh yeah, this rat. There's multiple. If you like that rat character, you're in luck because he's all over this. You know?
Is he winking?
This settled in no time.
Ah,
There
he
you
knew.
go.
He knew.
That's it for the babes. All right, so here comes
no.
terrible PlayStation gameplay. But I legitimately love PlayStation 1, like wobbly 3D graphics, you know?
Siphon
And I love Duke's boxy face, you know, where it's basically just a face texture on his dumb body. And the colored lighting. Now, do you need to go into settings and adjust some
This is going to be
camera, maybe? I don't know.
tough.
Oh, yeah.
This is rough. Yeah, I'm remembering how tough Siphon Filter that first one was, too.
Yeah. But he does the same thing where he kind of lurches towards the direction he's going to start running in, you know?
It's also like Tomb Raider.
Yeah, with the Tomb Raider
Yeah.
jumps. Yeah, oh, yeah. This is a very of its time game in
Yep.
terms of, like,
It's rough because this just doesn't exist anymore. Like this kind of control.
and the way the camera kind of fights you the whole time. And there's no auto lock, you know?
Siphon Filter had a lock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could hold down a button. There actually might be a lock-on feature here.
Laser blaster.
Oh, yeah, it looks like maybe you are trying to lock onto something.
Well, the lock on,
It's like a look feature.
it's got like truck control, so
Yeah.
or like plane control. So
Yeah.
down is up.
You
is
might be
down.
able to invert that in the settings menu.
Ooh, look at that.
Options. Look at that. Look at that sweet, sweet text.
That's hard to look at. Jump. I don't.
Straight left. There is an auto target. L1.
L1. Okay.
Yeah, but there's no way for it. So you could change the button mapping, which is pretty cool. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You're really...
How do I exit?
So press X to save.
There you go.
There we go. Yep. What about game settings? Was that where you just were?
No.
Auto aim on. Gore lots. Yes.
Lots.
Vibration function. Yeah, I guess there's no way. You're stuck with inverted look controls.
It's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was just before a lot of that stuff was like... So triangle is exit.
Ah.
Yeah. See, so even that is not standardized. Like nowadays, you press circle to go back, and this is telling you to press triangle. Like, come on.
You got a lot of bullets, though.
Yeah.
Not gonna run out of that.
I think you can shoot that red panel maybe, or pick up the phone, I've done it before. Can you shoot the rubble? No.
Oh, no. The shoot is on a weird button too. It's on X. A little bit. Yeah, usually it's on trigger these days. There you go. Yeah, I did something. High voltage testing.
Damn, it's locked.
Right. Well, thanks, Duke. Where are we going now?
It's locked.
Okay. What about that testing? Oh, what if there was another? Can you go in the elevators, maybe?
Those are elevators.
Yeah.
All right.
The other one, it looked like I had an open door.
Won't budge. Won't budge.
Yeah, that's good, at least. There we go. Look at this.
Press and hold R1 for look mode. Okay.
Okay, great.
Great. Oh, and it's on a different.
Yeah, look at this Silent Hill style stuff.
A lot of good that does me. I'm just gonna jump off because what the hell else am I gonna do? Okay, I take damage.
Chad is saying they use inverted mouse. That's crazy talk. Oh, hold on. Combat. You're taking a lot of damage from this guy. He's jumping. This is great.
Where is my fire button?
Wasn't it X?
It's not working. Yeah, I thought it was. Oh, there you go.
L1 to lock on and X to shoot. There we go.
Oh, okay, we got the lock. I'm dead.
I ain't got time to bleed.
He doesn't have time to bleed.
That's all right. Okay, here we are.
Restarting.
What do you guys think of this amazing mid-90s gameplay?
Okay, looks like everybody's still dead. That was dead, so it's good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the babes are still dead.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. Maybe something that I'm not doing, but
I think you just have to lock onto that rat and shoot the rat.
they're dead.
You're taking a lot of damage, though. Why?
Well, I fell. I took fall damage.
Oh,
It looks like
But
she
I don't know
gave
if there's
a
like a
good
better way
fight.
for me to do that.
What the?
this poor babe.
That looks pretty
Now
sturdy.
he's
Oh, it's my gun.
jump up on that.
If only I can get there.
Bullseye.
How do I switch my weapon?
D-pad.
Okay, that's what I was doing. Alright.
He looked up at the truss that's like up over your head there. Can you grab onto that?
Your jump is like incredible.
No, you can't grab that. There is a hook though. Can you grab the hook?
I'm gonna shoot this guy.
He's gonna kill you.
No. Oh.
Damn.
Look at him. Look at him jumping around. Little jerk rat.
He doesn't realize how hard it is for me to move. Alright, is there a way? Oh,
Whoa.
what? Where'd these guys come from?
Look at this. This guy. Lock onto him. L1. No? Yep. There we go. Can you jump onto that pole?
Pole,
or
yeah, I
whatever
was
their
thinking about
cable
that.
is that's in there? Because it was telling you to look, so I wonder.
It'll be obvious. They're thinking, yeah, it's kind of, I'll tell you, it's hard to go in a particular direction.
Yeah, no,
I'll say.
I remember it being a little bit like playing drunk or something like that.
The rat's not there.
Just
I think there
scared
might be
him
some
off.
sort of random enemy thing going on.
Yeah, that could be. No, wait, what does that missile do? And it's.
I think
and
that's
you
just background.
Okay.
There's like definitely,
Ooh, look at this water. Like that was pretty cool back in the day. Yeah, take that.
Chew on this.
there's definitely like platforming they're expecting me to do, but that is a tall order for this game.
Yeah. Well, I think you called it when you said like, oh, this is kind of like Tomb Raider or something like that.
Yeah. And even Tomb Raider like now takes some getting used to because the controls are so that time period that they never really did it before or after. They didn't really need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still didn't quite how to make 3D work on a controller.
Yeah. Or even like, well, actually, I kind of feel like the camera in this is better than it was in some games, but it's still pretty herky-jerky.
It's the camera's not the problem. But you don't have a lot of fine control. So like when you need to see something, you can't. So like having multiple layers here is really tough. Because like I can barely see anything that's below me. So something might be shooting me.
But you do have a look.
Well, you
Can
say
shoot
that, but
can you shoot that rocket into? No, you can't.
like I said, fine-tune control is very loose.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it does anything.
Do anything to that. Like when it first played the cutscene, it like peeked over at that guy in the control room. Oh, nice. Oh, look, you have an O2 meter.
Now I have to figure out how to
that's
swim.
an interesting mechanic. And you're stuck underwater now.
I'm gonna drown because I don't know how to swim. Okay.
Weird.
That
is weird. Okay. You do have lots of bullets, though. At least.
That's
You're getting
nice.
on the tank.
I want to go up. I don't think I have a keep on going.
That is weird.
Alright, let's see here. Can I jump up here?
No!
Okay, that's kind of cool.
A pole vault move. I'm not going to be any better at this game than Turbo Rob. He's suffering because it's not a good game. I said it was not a good game, but we wanted to. I wanted to
see where
play a Duke Nukem game that wasn't the most obvious selection. And I know I had played this game before, and I was just like, ugh, inscrutable.
Yeah, no, they're not really. Fun is not the word I would use for this one.
Yeah. I feel like I got farther than this, at least. So there must be something. Maybe we can drain this somehow. And you shot the control room thing, so that's not it.
Maybe there's something I'm supposed to shoot.
I think you might have been onto something when you're trying to jump towards that far cube. But I don't know how you can make that jump. I still feel like there's something going on with this girder over your head.
I'm supposed to shoot something over there.
Yeah, can you shoot the hook?
Oh no. Let me see if I can shoot whoever's in that thing there.
Is that it looks like a gorilla.
Yeah.
And also, how do you equip the sniper rifle? Maybe that's part of this.
Yangus, you've played this?
Yeah, Time to Kill. We could play Time to Kill too. I have that too. But this one was just so weird because it was 3D. I think Time to Kill is first person. No, I might be wrong. Yeah, is that a person in there? Is that like a gorilla? Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, get him. He's shooting at you too. Oh! Take that.
I wonder if that did anything for me. Doesn't seem like it.
That's right.
Kind of feel bad for him because I feel like he was just chilling, but I don't know what they want me to do.
That's very siphon filter. Like kind of, you do have a pretty healthy jump.
Yeah, up, like straight up.
Yeah.
But the forward jump is very scary. Like
Not great.
you don't have a lot of like confidence where you're gonna land. Am I gonna drown? There you go. Yeah, and if you can grab onto ledges, but they have to be a particular type for you to like go.
When you
up.
grab like that, can you move left or right? Like, could you walk along the edge of that? Now, can you make that jump? No, he doesn't grapple for it. There's gotta be something weird doing in this
this room.
That's right. This is pretty exciting gameplay, huh, chat? We're gonna take a screenshot. You know, that's
Yeah.
great. All right,
Yeah.
I'm filling up my screenshots with random stuff.
What is the next? Not that this isn't riveting, but what is the next Duke Nukem that we got? Do we got any more?
Well, we have some other. I mean, we have some other PS era Dukes that we could try. We could try Time to Kill that Yangus brought up.
Let's try that one.
That one.
We could also do you have the GBA one or the?
Oh yeah, we could do that. Yeah, you
'Cause
wanna
those
do
are-
that? Yeah, we
Those are kind of somewhere between. They kind of went back to the 2D formula.
let's just do that because that's actually kind of a more fitting.
What y'all at home don't know, or maybe you do, but Ryan has the craziest setup of every possible system you could possibly want, and like 1,000,000 controllers and
It is
just
pretty
everything.
insane.
It's epic.
It's my real goal was for people to come over and be like, "Oh, I remember this game from when I was a kid. Can we play such and such?" And for me to go, "Yeah, let me just boot that up." And
So far, so good.
you know,
So far, we haven't been able to not play anything that we thought we wanted to play.
all right. So now we got this. Is that showing up on screen? Yes, it is.
Do you have a Wii U?
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
yeah. There's only like, I lost my headphones. Yeah, the only game system I don't have is a CDI, probably, I think. Or like something like a Sega Pico or something. This is Duke Nukem for the Game Boy Color. We're playing this on my consoleized
98.
GBA. And so this is kind of based on the Duke Nukem 2 shareware, but it's called Duke Nukem on Game Boy Color, so it's kind of its own thing. Yeah, so in the original PC game, this was Oprah Winfrey, and they changed this and they changed the city, but it's pretty similar. And now instead of robots, you're fighting like alien slug creatures.
Great to be here.
It should be much quieter now. Is it much quieter? Hopefully. Yeah.
Hey, what's that light? It's like some sort of tractor beam.
Yeah. Oh my god. Duke. No, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, Game Boy Color, I didn't have a Game Boy Color when I was a kid. I had an original Game Boy and then eventually got a GBA. But I do kind of like the way they do their best to do these games on this weird little handheld system, you know? But like this is like charming, you know, for a Duke Nukem game.
Yeah, it seems like a late Game Boy Color because it said 98.
Yeah, it was like, which was probably the last year the Game Boy Color was. When did the GBA come out? Like 2001, maybe something like that. I think.
I know the last big game for the GBA was Pokemon. That was a huge, and then there was a couple links that were put out for it. Like the one right after. So the
wasn't Game Boy Color Pokemon because it was a big deal because Pikachu was yellow.
Sorry, yeah, Game Boy Color. Game Boy Color, but and then GBA,
they remade like red and green into
Right.
like leaf green and whatever tomato red or whatever it was.
I remember I didn't have a Game Boy Color, but I did have the Game Boy Pocket.
Ah. Yeah, the last game released was Shantae, which is a fantastic game. I love Shantae.
Ooh.
I have
You
a
don't-
signed Shantae poster up on the wall.
The sprite is definitely not as good.
Yeah.
You kind of look dumpy.
Well, he looks. I mean, yeah, he kind of looks like Peter Griffin a little bit, with his chin flopping around. But they definitely made it try to match Duke Nukem 3D, you know. And on the cover of the game, it was just the cover of Duke Nukem 3D.
Why is
That
it
kind
so
of
large?
thing.
His largeness doesn't work on this.
Well, also you got this is a blown up version of the GBA screen, so you know. But yeah, he does kind of look. He does kind of look like, I don't know, like a munchkin or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's not really anything like the other 2D.
Well, that's why I was like,
Oh.
we definitely need to play the real PC version, because this is
Not.
similar. It's more similar than the PlayStation game
Yeah.
we played, but it's definitely weird. But I do like this HUD. I like the kind of green. You know, like maybe I'll steal this HUD for our stream, because the HUD we have now is kind of basic, but you know.
Yeah, this is another game where you're kind of. There's just a lot of kind of semi-unfair.
You got a duck, I think, to shoot that guy. Yep.
You're kind of just stuck looking down the barrel, and like
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of moves, and you're slow. The responsiveness isn't there.
Well, according to the notes, this is actually it had a lot more moves because you could shoot on ladders,
Yeah.
and there was some other stuff you could do that he was not able to do in previous games.
But it's not as responsive, so it's like there's a lag, you
Yeah.
know, and you're kind of sluggish compared to the PC.
Right.
So you can kind of dodge stuff pretty well on the PC. In this one, it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah. It's kind of like Prince of Persia animation movements. It's not as fluid though. I think Rob said it best when he said he was kind of dumpy.
Yeah.
Look at his legs.
He
His big
feels-
low legs.
They look like goat legs.
And the gun, it's like, I guess you're shooting, like you see the
See, like trying to
the
dodge
muzzle
that.
flare, but yeah, this
You
guy-
kind of have.
And if you get too close, this guy explodes, and that hurts you. But look at this! Oh, look at that fluid climbing animation. You can't argue with that. And Duke Nukem, they got that. You want you to backtrack that far? Come on.
See, it's like
Yeah.
that. I'm just
you have
stuck.
to duck to shoot
yeah.
the one thing, then you're getting shot. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that.
Oh,
New.
maybe
It's gonna be
so.
Nukem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I like the animation of the little slime though. That's kind of fun.
I mean, I guess you have a pretty wide health bar, so I guess
Yeah.
you just sort of tank it.
Yeah. Oh, what's that thing? What does that do?
Crystal.
You think that's the keys you'll need?
Yeah.
You got a blue crystal, so there'll be like a blue crystal. Not so fast, Robert.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. He mantled.
A little bit of Blackthorn.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, this game is very blackthorny. That's true.
Looks wise, yeah.
Not as cool.
No.
Blackthorn could do the over-the-shoulder shotgun
Right.
shooting stuff.
More responsive. That one's really like Prince of Persia, though.
Yeah. I like Blackthorn. I think Blackthorn had pretty good style, you know.
Yeah.
Another visitor.
So it feels like it's more of a points thing.
And what do you think X2A, like what is that thing on the lower right of your HUD telling you?
Maybe it's something that you get later. Fills that in.
Yeah, maybe look like this.
Oh,
Okay.
X2.
Maybe X2
Oh, ticket.
is your damage. Like you do
Yeah.
twice as much damage. Maybe?
can see that.
You move twice as fast.
I will say it's not the worst Game Boy game. I mean, Game Boy's kind of a tough catalog. There's some really bad games on Game Boy.
There's some bad, there's some good. You
Yeah.
know, I like a little Castlevania Adventure or the Final Fantasy game that was like Suikoden or whatever.
Oh, I died. Yeah, there's the fall
look,
damage.
he looked at you.
Look at what you did to me.
He's like, you did this with your bad platforming. So you still have the microchip that you picked up in your inventory. That's right.
So what do I do here?
I think you gotta jump on the ladder. Push up.
Okay. All right.
A classic. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's a shotgun.
Oh, they kind of knocked me off the...
Now, is this guy gonna respawn? I bet he will. So you gotta shoot him from the ladder and then jump whilst dodging his bullets. Oh boy. Oh boy. And you have a shotgun, but it doesn't look any different on screen. And it doesn't seem to do any more damage. Oh, oh, look at that big,
It saved me.
big health bar, you know?
Okay.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, yeah, okay. Yangus, what have you done to me? What kind of thing have I turned into?
What kind of a thing have I turned into? That's a...
Is that a reference?
That's a
I don't get?
reference from Fantastic Four. Roger Corman's Fantastic
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Four. No one's seen it.
See, when I was a kid, I used to see VHS like bootlegs at comic book conventions. But the only one of those I ever bought was the Dolph Lundgren Punisher,
Oh, man.
which was also not great,
Yeah.
but presumably better than that.
Depends on what you think is better. Like, that one's kind of
Is it
legendary.
ha-ha?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
too so bad it's good
Yeah, definitely.
type of thing?
It had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style animatronic thing.
Thing face
Yeah.
was like, bop, bop,
Yeah.
bop. Yeah.
Weird man puppet.
Sorry I didn't get that reference, Yangus. My bad. You tried to give me one from a Gen X standpoint, and I didn't get it. You know, you could have been out here making Shrek references. Thankfully, you did not. Do you think that that's our blood spatter on the back wall there? I guess, maybe.
Could be.
Are you
Could
in a
be.
jail? Where are we? Are
I
we
think
on
you are in a
spaceship?
jail. Yeah. You're in a spaceship, but also a jail. Hey.
Nice. Here's an elevator. That's cool. I do like all these little things he does.
He's
Look at his
such
weird
a-
shirt.
He's such an odd body.
Yeah. Why does he have a shirt like the girl from Flashdance? You know, like kind of a ripped up tee. So was Duke Nukem? Is Duke Nukem secretly an early gay icon? Anybody?
I mean,
you know about that? He is kind of a himbo. You know?
Yeah, he's got kind of vibes, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like
He's
yeah,
trying a little bit too hard.
Yeah,
It's a little too much of a pantomime, right? A little too, like, classically,
Yeah.
Like
He's a
a-
little too into his own physique.
right? Is it all just a big, joke?
Oh, now, what does this do for you? Are you invincible? You got them all. Nothing. Just points.
I think it's just points. That's an...
Look at him.
That,
Oh, look at his pants. Look at his short little legs.
I think he's wearing, like, what were they called? Zubas? That people would wear?
Oh.
Sporty
Or
types?
like Z Cavaricis or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
They would be like,
Now make sure to save. We got to
Oh.
retain this.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think I saved.
That's cool. Those animated radio buttons.
There are some pretty good animations I didn't think Game Boy was capable of.
Yeah. His little ledge grab is pretty fun. Look at that. I mean, that's cool. I don't know if it's as good as, let's say, Tak and the Power of Juju, you know, but... Oh, man. missiles, some zombie guy.
Yeah, you're just kind of at the mercy. You don't have a lot of movement that you can kind of dodge people.
Yeah.
Like you're just
You
stuck.
sort of just have to guns blazing,
Yeah.
you know,
You kind of just have to take it and hope you'll get to the
Yeah.
the pluses.
or shoot before you even see anything, and you're just like,
Yeah,
bop, bop,
but
bop, bop,
everybody
bop.
takes multiple hits in this game, so it's like
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there's like headshots or something that can
No.
do more damage. Is there? There's probably not a charge shop. Would be.
let me try that. Probably not yet. Yeah, there's a hold down shoot, but
Yeah.
and that
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
seem.
And then you get that gun, but is that a gun upgrade? I don't know. Doesn't seem to be doing
There-
more damage.
Yeah, there's not really any sort of choices. Although it's good to know.
Oh look, he can. He does shoot over his back shoulder, kind of. Or no, he's just pulling his gun out like a badass. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any way to shoot that thing before it shoots you, and you can't duck it. I don't think.
I guess I have infinite ammo, so I should just be holding this down.
Yeah, but even then, I don't know.
Which is funny. Like you're just walking through,
Yeah.
holding down fire.
You're right, Yangus. When you get TAC, you not only get a fun platformer with a little, I don't know, bug-eyed guy running around, but you also get his juju powers. You're right. I shouldn't be so hard on it.
Take that. Just holding that like
Yeah.
shot button.
And these guys look like they're wearing like pajamas. That's cool, you know? I definitely like that. Look at this. Come on, this is not fair. Oh, nice. It's like you're a kid, you're on a family vacation. This is the game you've got in the car. Like, this is another one where I'm kind of like, who is this for? Like, this red blood splatter. It's not really a kid's game, and it's not based on a game for kids, but it's also not quite adult enough for the Duke Nukem 3D crowd. It's weird. Oh, there we go. Look at this. Red key.
I mean, it was slim pickings on portable at this point. There
Yeah.
weren't phone games.
I think there was probably a lot of people that bought this expecting Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah.
And then going, oh. And Yangus is right. It does kind of have a Prince of Persia
I will say,
thing
it
going
is
on.
more fun than that game we just played.
Oh, yeah. Well, Land of the Babes is a terrible game. LA Dead Red, to answer your question, this is the Game Boy Color port of Duke Nukem, which is the game we were playing earlier tonight. Just to give you guys a taste of another game in the series that's also playable on a handheld, and, you know, a look at the past.
All right. Well.
Well,
I am
okay,
super
so
dead.
maybe this is a good place to
Yeah.
end. We're at 8. We've been on now for an hour and 20 minutes. Let me switch back over to couch mode. So that was Duke Nukem. Let me you want to do some pricing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you? When I was looking it up, I was looking up the floppies.
Yeah, I had a hard time finding
Yeah.
any information. I only found one. Let me see. I only found one copy of original Duke, and it was Australian, and it was one of those games like you were talking about that you would get at Walmart, where it was like a collection that included Duke Nukem, and that was going for $44
Yeah.
for the discs.
You can find them on. I looked them up on eBay, but you got to know how to look them up. So basically, you're looking up episode 2 or episode 1 because they came on specific discs.
You got episode 1 for free, and then the one you paid for was episode 2.
So you can-
that's probably pretty rare,
Yeah,
right?
Duke Nukem episode 2, and I was looking, and I think I saw 1.
Yeah, like with the original Apogee label or whatever.
Yeah, because everything else comes up like Duke Nukem 3D, da 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 da, forever.
Yeah.
But then if you get deep into it, you'll find like a couple floppy disks, but they're not expensive for being as rare as they are. But it's probably because people aren't really looking for them.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, that's true. People are not, the PC games in general are not very expensive. So some old shareware probably is not.
I think part of I think I was saying this before, is the experience of PC games hasn't, the power has changed, but, and maybe the format, right? So we have stuff like DOSBox. But once you have DOSBox, any version of that game is basically going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
There's not any loss when you like play something you just download offline.
Yeah.
So most of these games are the same off of the internet on some like network location as it would be if you bought the floppy disk.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you do buy the floppy disk, whatever it's going to install is not going to be working on Windows 11, so you kind of need the DOS box that's been kludged to work with DirectX and all that kind of stuff. So
collecting the media, it's just not as big of a thing unless you're just a mega collector.
Yeah. Or probably some of the big box games with like cloth maps and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Probably there's some collectability, but for this, I don't even think there was a box. You probably just got it mailed to you in like a padded envelope and good luck, kid.
Yeah, because they probably saved some money on the way they did it, which was like they didn't do boxes until later. So they just would mail you. Like you would send in the check and then they would mail it to you. And
sometimes, like you said, with Doom 2, there was like a retail release, but that was much later.
Right.
In its life, Yeah.
And I think Doom 1 was just floppy disks as well, like episodes.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. I mean, there was what was it called? It was like Doom Gold or there was like a release of Doom eventually that was like a retail version, but that was much later in its life.
So for those out there who are looking for it, it's going to be rare, but it's going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and you could get it, I paid $3.99 for the version that we played. So
I wouldn't say it's worth paying for, too much for.
Yeah. And there must be, I actually didn't look this up either, but it's got to be included on some Duke Nukem game that got released as a collection at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mini, because when I look them up, there's, they can include it. It's just a couple kilobytes. They can kind of squeeze it into any of the reprints of Duke Nukem 3D. So it's probably like on some of the special edition discs and stuff that exist out there. And then
like the
compilations.
Duke Nukem thermonuclear edition or whatever the heck. Yeah. Well, you want to hear about Game Boy Color prices?
Let's do it.
Does that appeal?
That's more of a collector's item, I imagine. Yeah.
Oh, well, here's something interesting. Have you ever heard of the Evercade system?
It's like striking a memory, but I don't have like a good.
It's kind of similar to, it's a modern system that was released that basically they sold, SD cards that were packed with a particular company's game. So you could buy like the Data East pack or the Capcom pack. And then it was like had HDMI out. And it was essentially like an emulator box, but it was sort of a retro system. Came out maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But there were 2 Duke Nukem packs that were released. And so I have prices for those too, which I thought was interesting because that is one way you could currently buy like a retail version of Duke Nukem. So loose, that's about $20. Complete for the Duke Nukem collection is $36. Brand new, that's $44. And I found a graded copy for whatever reason for $48. So if you have an Evercade, you could get the Evercade Duke Nukem collection.
And what's in that collection?
That is Duke 1 and 2, and then Duke 3D, and maybe if I think there was another Duke 3D era game.
There was a Duke Nukem Forever.
No, it's not that. It's all the stuff from like the 90s.
Between those two.
Yeah, it was all the stuff that came out for PC in the 90s, basically.
Got it.
Yeah. So the Game Boy Color actually pretty affordable. Loose in Europe, it sells for about 18, and in the US, it sells for 26 loose. Complete, the US is a little more expensive. It's 159. The complete version of the European release is only 62, and a new copy in Europe is 177 and 255 in the US. So if you're a Game Boy collector, I think $25 for a loose copy of, sure.
It's definitely not in the top Game Boy games. It's definitely not something I would collect first, this specific version of Duke. It's better than that terrible game we played on the PlayStation or whatever, but
how much would you expect to pay for that PlayStation game?
less than $5.
All right. Well, unfortunately for you, you would have to pay more for that. The disc alone is 23. Complete 43, and brand new it's 130. And I also found a graded copy of Duke Nukem Land of the Babes for $549. Lunacy. Nobody is paying that.
Yeah, you only got to sell one.
Yeah. Let me switch back over to Chad. Chad, any comments on this? Don't copy that floppy. Yeah, okay. So that's some quick talk about pricing. So what's the verdict? From your point of view, any of this stuff worth picking up or pass?
Not even a Duke Nukem 3D. Even that, you can find better versions online that you don't have to pay much for. Or
there's like an XBLA
right
port and stuff.
All the Duke Nukem stuff is the episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I was able to find it on some sort of web, like a browser version that plays just as well. Just do that. If you want to play these games, they're available. Don't pay anything for them. At most a couple bucks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And all these other kind of games, they're not worth it. They're not worth much at all. They're not very good. They were mostly just cash grabs.
Even with the animation of the guy grabbing onto the ledge.
It's kind of fun to look at on a stream and reminisce, but no. There's just so much out there to collect.
All right, that's the verdict.
Yeah.
It's a no. I tend to agree with that. I could see if you were a Game Boy collector, I think this is for Game Boy Color, this is a decent game, but I wouldn't pay much more than $30 probably.
Yeah.
And for the Land of the Babes, I definitely wouldn't pay what they're asking for it. If I saw a copy of that for $20 and I could get it signed by the voice actor who played Duke Nukem, and if I was at a retro convention and that was the situation, I was like, oh, I could pick this up and what's his name? St. James is over there. I'll get him to sign it. That'll be funny.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah.
But I'd rather
you saw Rob, we couldn't even get out of the first room. It sucked.
Right.
But
I'd rather, if I were getting something signed, Duke Nukem 3D, right? If I was choosing, right, a disc of that.
I think I would go for that one that came out on 360, like the really terrible. Was that Duke Nukem Forever? Whatever that game.
Forever was real bad.
Yeah, that was a horrible game. But I would do it for the lulls.
Yeah, that one's the most hated.
Yeah, and probably rightfully so.
Yeah, that was a hateful game.
Hateful and hate Ed. Yeah. Well, all right. So one more segment we could do is news. If you're feeling like some news,
feeling it.
We've got some. We talked about 3DO, so we can jump into that. So, this week, this guy named Fixel, who is a relatively well-known modder in the 3DO scene, posted a countdown on his website, and it caused a major furor. There was some mumblings and grumblings, and I'll tell you why. So this guy made an ODE, which stands for an optical disc emulator, which is pretty popular in the retro gaming scene because it's a way for you to play a bunch of these old games without having to buy all the discs. You basically replace the disc drive with something that you could load everything on an SD card. And like I have one in my Dreamcast, for example. So this was not cheap. The external ODE drive that allowed you to keep your disk drive was $350 for the 3DO, not a system that's highly collected. So a very niche product for a niche group of people. So he released it, and initially things were great, had pretty good support, good firmware and stuff like that. But ultimately, he got a little wound up in some other projects, and there was a lot of people that bought some that never received them, and then he said he was going to give them refunds. They never got refunds. And he's had a couple of these false starts where he comes back and he goes, okay, for real this time, I'm going to refund everybody that needs a refund. Anybody that still wants one, you're going to get the new version. And so a lot of people are taking a wait and see attitude. Now, I happen to own one of these ODs, and it works great. And my personal experience is that Fixel helped me with getting it started. And there is one problem, though. I have two 3DOs, and it does not work with my FZ10 3DO because of some problem with the motherboard that he was promising firmware updates for that never came. So I would say even my own experience was not perfect, but at least I don't feel ripped off. But I just wanted to touch on that because as Rob mentioned, I'm deep into the world of console preservation. And so a lot of these disk drives, they're not going to last forever. The discs themselves are going to suffer disk rot. So if you're really into playing games on original hardware, an ODE is an important tool, and it's important to buy one from a trusted source. And I don't know if Fixel's going to be able to claw his way back. And I know this is nothing you have any experience with, Rob, but
well,
do you have thoughts?
I do have thoughts because, you know, I bought into the Polymega thing.
That's right.
And I don't know actually where that sits in the whole thing. I think there's people who struggle with it because it's not. I think the thing people were liking more than that was the like Raspberry Pis, but it's
the Mister.
Yeah. But it's some people like it, and there's some like benefits. One of the things is you talked about that disk rot thing.
Yeah.
So if you have your discs and you load it up onto Polymega, it downloads it so you can play it forever. Yeah. So if you lose the disc, you still have it. But it isn't. I don't think it's like perfect one-to-one sort of hardware emulation. So that's something people complain about. But the other thing you were saying was the way that these companies probably they don't have sort of the resources of a larger company.
Yeah, so, definitely not. This is a very not even a mom and pop. It's like it's like just a labor of love, basically.
So Polymega has had big struggles getting production, getting kits out to people on time, meeting the deadlines that they put forward, changing the deadlines, and then supporting stuff. So there'll be things where people will complain like, hey, this one game doesn't work. And they go, okay, let's fix that. So it is a world where the prices are high because it's such a small market that you can't make that much money, and you're not selling bulk. You're selling like to 500 people maybe. So you got to make your investment back. So usually the prices are really high for these kind of bespoke little things, little products, and so the prices are high and the support is tough and they break a lot, and they're just kind of sometimes they're lemons,
Something I like about the Polymega that the Mister doesn't have is I really do like the fact that I can play my original games on any of these. I have lots of flashcards and stuff, so I could play like pirated whatever Sega Genesis games. But I have like my original copy of, Shining Force or something like that from when I was a kid, and I can play that. And I like that. I like that aspect. And so I think the backups on Polymega are important. But like you said, I'm sure that hardware is about the same cost that they're charging for it. Like I don't think that anybody is getting rich off of the Polymega,
No, No, it's not. It's not going to be like a huge. Hopefully, it'll keep the lights on at that company.
Yeah.
But it's not going to. It's all these companies are very niche.
Yeah.
There's only so many people that can afford to buy this, like, and have the interest in sort of this as a hobby. It's a hobbyist kind of thing.
And I think you have to have that appreciation, because you could just emulate,
right?
And then and so I think like what you said about, maybe it's not the perfect hardware emulation. At this point, a lot of those systems could be very easily emulated on like a Raspberry Pi or something like that. So if you're talking about like the 16-bit era, no problem. And so maybe as you get into like Dreamcast, GameCube territory, that's not going to happen. But the Polymega doesn't do those systems anyway,
not yet,
right?
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, I think that, so you definitely are in the same boat of like you're bought into this system and you're kind of hoping for the best.
Right.
But I think you also just kind of have an open mind of like, this is a bit of a work in progress.
Yeah.
And I'm buying this knowing that it might have a problem.
Yeah, it might have some problems. But I learned enough to know that probably a little bit better than what you said. I mean, as in typically, like I haven't heard like bricks.
Yeah.
It's more just like
and they're
managing
doing
expectations.
They're doing one-off support for games.
Right.
That's important if you have a game that you really want to play.
Yeah, and they don't support sort of weird stuff like
32X or whatever.
Or like the extra stuff, like the EverDrive, all that stuff, like the game.
Oh,
things.
yeah, well that's probably okay, because I think it's for those systems it's kind of more important that you support the original shit.
Right. And then they'll be listing off like games that came later, like, and some of those don't work. But
like in the SNES, some of those cards had extra chips inside of them, which may be hard to emulate or whatever. Like Star Fox or whatever. But
yeah, I mean it's like a it's whatever you want to throw your money on. That's basically
As long as you would hope that they would give people refunds if they weren't able to do that. But I definitely think that if you get into this, it is sort of hobbyist, and you just kind of have to understand
it's kind of Kickstarter stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, I Kickstarted a lot of board games. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. And you hope they give you your money back, but sometimes they don't, and you just kind of have to go,
don't risk more than you can comfortably risk.
Yeah, this is definitely luxury stuff, as in like you should not be spending any money you can't afford to be throwing at something like this hobby. And it's not a cheap hobby for sure.
No.
Right?
But Polymega can help with that a little bit, because you have the game backups, and so
for me it's a little bit of a tag team, because you got a bunch of games, and I can basically bring my Polymega over and steal all your games.
You get all these sweet Sega Saturn, whatever. Yeah. Well, that's the news. Before we wrap up, you want to talk about what we've been playing, what we're gonna play, that sort of thing?
So right now I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I've seen you're bringing up games that I see advertisements for on like Steam or whatever. That is so tell me about it.
It's open world, I don't know, over the shoulder, I guess is what it's called.
Third person action.
Third person action. Kind of like Ghost of Tsushima. Did you play that?
Ghost of Tsushima?
Tsushima.
Yes, I did. I love that game.
Similar.
Souls-like?
Not quite like that, because it's a little bit more it's trying to be a little bit more simulation. So the a little bit more first person in the fighting, a little bit more like Skyrim a little bit, but it's you're less powerful.
Is there magic?
No.
Or is it also
it's like it's
sword hacking and
hack and slash.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So it's like it's supposed to be no magic, Middle Ages, real Middle Ages.
Cool. Is it?
Everybody smells bad.
Is it?
You play dice with people.
Really accurate in terms of the armor.
It tries to be.
Okay,
so you're not. You don't get like suits of armor. You get like a gamison,
a plate or something,
and maybe like a chain shirt.
Right.
It's still like RPG-esque. You certainly can take more hits than most people do, but not that many hits, and you go down, and it's pretty hard. So I'd say what people are saying about it is the difficulty is pretty high, especially right away. So you have to get used to the combat system, and it's an awkward combat system.
Interesting.
But it's trying to sort of emulate the way it feels to actually sword fight, which is what makes it weird, because you're used to like Witcher, right, where everything's kind of done for you,
right,
and it's kind of a little bit more.
So that reminds me a little of For Honor. Did you ever play For Honor?
I think it's kind of it's somewhere between The Witcher and For Honor,
Okay.
or like I don't know if you've seen sort of the sort of first person multiplayer games that people will put up on like on clips of where it's like somebody's I don't know if I can't remember. I don't remember the name of the game, but like it's the one where there's like a bard class, and you can run around the battlefield and play music, and people are not supposed to kill you.
Oh, is that Baldur's Gate?
No.
3?
It's like a first-person multiplayer.
I don't know it.
Kind of like.
No, this is definitely not my genre. So,
anyways,
yeah.
Maybe somebody online, maybe they know.
Somebody's screaming at us.
Chivalry.
Right now
That's
in the
right.
chat.
It's Chivalry.
All right, there we go.
So Kingdom Come is a little
Thank
bit
you,
like
chat.
between Chivalry and like a third-person action game, if you want to think about it that way. So there's like a story, and
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Is there a story and all that?
and the story is really good. So it's like really engaging. But then like I got through all the kind of the initial story, and now it opens up, and I'm running around like doing tasks and like gaining money, kind of like The Witcher, taking on jobs and stuff like that. And then there's like not random, but like you run up on people and they're bandits.
Right.
So they try to beat you up, and they
Is
just
there
smash your
loot?
skull in.
Are you picking up
Yes.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah, you loot them, and that's also how you get money, but everybody's really good and you suck right away. So it's definitely one of those.
Base building? Base building?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I haven't gotten that far. Not so far, but it could be that later you do get to do that.
So you're not like maintaining your keep or something
No,
like that?
not at this point. You're running around villages like trying to help out like innkeepers. Like-
I do like a good innkeeper quest.
Right.
Yeah.
And trying not to get killed by bandits. Beating your head in with like a club.
So far that's a recommendation.
I love it, but I like immersion.
Yeah.
It's definitely got the immersion. I can deal with the difficulty. I just have to play it enough, you know?
Yeah, it's probably just the kind of thing where you kind of have to figure out, what does this game want from me?
Right.
And once you get that muscle memory down, it'll become no big deal.
It's fair eventually if you kind of catch on to what it's trying to do. And it's not like other games, so it might take some time. What about you?
Sounds pretty sweet. So to answer your question, Rob,
Yeah.
what I'm playing is I've been helping my wife with her open houses and stuff, and so that means I have a little downtime, and I've been taking my Switch with me. And this week I was playing a lot of Advance Wars 1 and 2 Return. It's like the Switch remake of Advance Wars.
I think I picked that up.
That's like the DS Advance Wars that
Yeah.
got put on Switch. I like tactical, like grid-based tactics games. But
We'll definitely have to do a deep dive on that.
Yeah. I'm not I like Fire Emblem okay, but like as far as the intelligent systems games go, I love Advance Wars. It's like there's not a lot of extra systems. It's a real rock paper scissors type of situation, and I kind of feel like Fire Emblem gets a little into BS territory where sometimes stuff happens sort of XCOM style where you're like, okay, well, there's no way I could have prepared for that.
Right.
Whereas I really feel like Advance Wars is like, you look at the grid, you figure out your strategy, and you basically just have to execute. And if you do it correctly, you'll be successful. And if you do something stupid, you'll pay for it. And it's very fair in that way.
Yeah.
I love those games. And the Switch version, just everything is improved, like the graphics. It's kind of chibi style, but the music is good. And yeah, I just love those games. So I've been playing that over the weekend.
Those are great. Classic. Some people don't like them. I've seen a lot of like back and forth. They're not universally beloved, but I always loved them. And but I also like Fire Emblem. But yeah, Fire Emblem can be trying because it's more story based, and anybody that dies is a problem. But in Advance Wars, it's more like attrition. Usually is how you win the game. Like
I mean, I do like the Fire Emblem system where you grow relationships and that has an impact and stuff, but
to some degree.
But it's a little too much.
I fell off the wagon. I played all the GBA ones, which were redos of like SNES ones. Those were good. But once they got past, I think not the last one they did, but it was like all about having
like
kids.
Awakenings. And,
I think Awakenings was the last one.
Yeah. They were a little too waifu simulator for me,
It got too much story. Like it at the expense of actually playing the turn-based strategy that I wanted to play.
You ever play Final Fantasy Tactics?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You ever play Fallout Tactics?
No, that's a bit on my list.
Also on mine. Maybe we should make a project to play Fallout Tactics together.
We should try Fallout Tactics, Fallout 2. I wonder if these could be like long streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fallout 2, I mean, I played it way back in the day.
I never finished it. I finished one and every other one except for online.
Yeah.
But I never did 2. I started it like a couple like months ago, and then I never kind of continued it.
Sweet. Well, Tactics Cast coming soon.
So Yangus is saying, I want a new tactics game with a beefy job class system. So this is, everything's coming together. There was a Kickstarter for a game called Untold Story.
Sounding familiar.
A mega bad situation. Another one, we may talk about it in some future news section, but that it turned into vaporware. But it's exactly what
unfortunate
is what he's saying. It was a new tactics game. They brought in a developer from Final Fantasy Tactics, and then it just kind of and it's still technically in development, so you can still go find the Kickstarter. But it's like, I mean,
I've definitely heard of Untold Story.
Like maybe 15 years of nothing. So everybody's just like, it's done for. To talk about what Yangus was talking about, but the other thing, Yangus, the KCD2's intro is super long. I don't know if it's the same because there's a lot more interaction. Cool. Great game.
Yeah, I love that game and highly recommended. I'll probably have more Switch games in the next few weeks because that's a lot of my downtime is on the Switch at the moment, just for portability's sake. But I guess that kind of wraps up the show. We'll be back next week with another exciting retro game and more enthusiastic chat and discussion.
Yeah.
And anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks once again for joining us, everybody. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Rob.
And this has been Turbo Retro Duo, and we will see you next time.